I'm very pleased that, again, we have our dear brother from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who has written two monumental works, Culture Bandits and the Black Holocaust. It is your culture that is keeping America starving, because it's your culture that is the #1 American export. It is your culture that they are using to deal with the trade deficit. Culture Bandits. That's important. Fortune magazine, in the last year, talk about how you and your culture was equalizing world trade. You don't know why they don't put you in check. Then you want to dilute yourself by getting some cracker around you. So Culture Bandits is right on time. And the Black Holocaust is still in existence. And so tonight, I want each and every one of us to stand on our feet and give a warm welcome of applause to Dr. Street Man Dale Jones.
Thank you very much. It feels very good to be home again. It hasn't been so long since I've been here, but I'd like to say one thing. Dr. Chancellor Williams passed. Our illustrious elder, you know. Our great elder, you know. And in honor, please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Chancellor Williams wouldn't want us weeping for him, you know. He would want us to stand up tall. Stand up real, real, real tall. He asked a major question. How did we get from the pyramids to the projects? And we're going to answer that question for our elder as we show him how we get from the projects back to the pyramids. Because we move in African style. Ain't no joke. We got to know how to deal with what is happening. We must use our own barometers to measure our movement. Or it is difficult, very, 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 very difficult to measure your own movement, to measure your own progress, but it is critical that we must do so. 5 years ago, Africans wasn't thinking about no kente cloth. Didn't nobody want to hear nothing about Malcolm X. Only the progressives who continue to work and pound and work and pound with no credit at all kept moving that African culture forward at the jugular vein of the enemy. Yeah. Those who stay loyal to the revolution never get any credit, nor do we ask for any. We just want to see the progress of the people. And it is here. It is here. And they, if we talk about stimulus and response, when the young brothers and sisters resurrected Malcolm X, the society had to answer. They said, whoa, they done found the right road home. So what we must do, we must define Malcolm X for them. We must do it. And we're very, 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 very unfair to our children, to our young people. We don't give them credit. Since February 21st, 1965, I have been moving and grooving as a Malcolmite. When he was blown apart, he was blown in us. And those who realized it picked up the real Malcolm and ran with him. We ran through the 60s when we had to burn cities and get very military about our stuff. When we set up breakfast programs in the churches, in the mosques, when the Black Panthers and other people start feeding your own babies. Because that's the responsibility of adults, to feed your own babies. I don't want nobody else feeding my baby. Because the child's going to love the person who feeds them. They realize what's going down. So Malcolm was blown in us, and we keep charging ahead because we have to avenge every tragedy in the Black Holocaust. It's not only about freedom, it's about retribution. Nobody want to talk about that. We must slap them up against the wall, up against the wall. The fifth column has been up and turned back the movement for years. And them old suckers are still alive. We're producing a new batch. Talking about the Negro College Fund. I don't want no more Negroes. Oh, yeah. They blew Malcolm into us. And he feels good in there. He feels real good in there. It gives me definition for social phenomena because I know Malcolm. And we kept charging. Fighting major armies and skirmishes in the alleyways, in the vestibules of black life. Because we knew clearly if we was ever pushed back, our people would be stuck to the curb like they are now. If we were ever defeated, we would know clearly that black people would starve and die. They would die. We knew it. And when they unleashed COINTELPRO, when they aimed them at our movements, when they started locking up and assassinating people all over this country, all over the world, when they usurped the leadership of Africa, the connection could never be made because there's nothing but neo-colonialist flunkies and faggots there now. Oh, but we rebuilding, we molding. We come in. You don't need a new world order if the old world order is working. What's there saying? Don't reinvent the wheel. Well, that wheel broke because we broke it. And we keep charging. A lot of African dignitaries, a lot of brothers and sisters from Southern Africa, from Grenada, from Jamaica and other places ask, how is it that you Africans and states keep charging? Keep charging on. Our young people don't get the credit, you know. They resurrected Malcolm. I never left Malcolm. I don't get no points for that, except being an example. And the people who stayed loyal to the struggle became the example for the youth. And the youth threw it all over the videos. Imagery's flashing, KRS-One, Public Enemy, all of them deserve credit for teaching the young people about Malcolm. It wasn't no Spook Lee who did that. He rode in on white money to define Malcolm. Somehow he never got to the Pan-African Malcolm. He never got to the Malcolm who sat with Nkrumah and Sekou Touré. He didn't even speak to Malcolm with the Africa. He wanted to leave him just a religious man. That he was. But he was a warrior supreme. We ain't giving up nothing. You know we ain't giving up Malcolm. And they decide to confuse the youth, and he became the rising of the phoenix. Oh, Malcolm is still rising, and we're still playing catch up. He's still blazing that trail, and here we come. Because Malcolm began to put together a global outlook, because he understood white supremacy clearly. He was non-compromising. He could not be bought out. He could not be sold. So the youth decided that's our icon. And he's our rising phoenix. And we will rise with him. And that we will do. As long as we know, let's study his words from Malcolm, not nobody else.